India in Mangalore. Silpa Kala Ratnam title awarded received from the Singapore then President Nathan, and Silpa Sudamani title award received from Mendes, Canada. Vastu Silpa Kala Saharam felicitated by Krishna, the former Chief Minister of Karnataka. He is one of the renowned Sthapathi. I request Dr. Dakshamurthy to come to dais and make his presentation.
The PPT can be shown last, sir. I have only one PPT picture because of the time constraint. Yesterday only I reached Chennai from UK. That's why I could not prepare the PPT and all. Good morning to everyone. It's a nice occasion, and thanks to ASI for arranging this beautiful workshop. Actually, it is a rare thing happening in this dais. Normally, the Sthapathis are not appearing in the dais in the past. So, we are the people safeguarding the intangible heritage. As UNESCO said, we are in the lineage of constructing temples since from many thousands of years before. From my college days, I used to read the beautiful message of architect Vitruvius. I used to read almost every day. This is the saying of Vitruvius, boosting me every day to learn a lot of things. Particularly, I must mention here about Dr. Satyamurthy sir. We are in the expert committee, HRNC. We used to meet many times. I still learn a lot of things, though I am attaining the age 60. My topic actually, it is I need to speak about iconometry. Professor Rajendran also going to speak about the iconometry. So if you need to talk about iconometry, there are many perspectives. We can talk about the iconometry in many angles. So my view of explaining about iconometry must be about Manopakarana. This is the first chapter available in the Vastu literatures. More talking about Manopakarana. Actually, the Manopakarana, Manam means the measurements, Upakarana means the tools, the scale. We call the temples are living organism. Don't feel that even I object calling the ancient temples or the monuments. Actually, these are all the living organisms. It is not made out of only brick or stone. Actually, all the temples, almost all the temples in the olden days constructed are made out of, it is combined with soul. It is soul enclosed structures. It is like our human being, like our living being. So, what I need to talk today is unheard, unspoken, and for creating a new horizon for the research. I didn't tell what Vitruvayas told. Those who have aimed at acquiring manual skill without scholarship have never been able to reach a position of authority corresponding to their pains. While those who have relied only upon theories and scholarship were obviously hunting the shadow, not the substance. But those who have a thorough knowledge of both, like men aimed at all points, have sooner attained their object and carried authority with them. This is the saying of Vitruvayas I used to read all the days. Manopakarana is the key factor which is bringing down God from the heaven. It is bringing down the God to the earth. How? Only because of this Manopakarana, what we people are following. This is not the new one for us. Actually, still we people are safeguarding by following all the Manopakarana, the scale system what told in the Vastu Sastras. I went many places. I traveled in the north also, where I found, I wrote a book in architecture. That is, I wrote a book about the Dharmaraja Ratha also. And recently I released a book, Introspection in Indian Architecture. Actually, I visited many places and measured things where I found the science of architecture, how they have used in those days. You must have heard about the Padavinyasa, how, it is a Padavinyasa is a modular method of making town planning, making temples, making houses. All these things are based on the method told Vastu Purusha Mandala or Padavinyasa. Padavinyasa is dividing the entire area by too many squares and the allocation of rooms and walls, pillars, all based on Vastu Purusha Mandala or Padavinyasa system. In the ancient days, they have followed. I found actually Ajanta, if you check 15A Ajanta cave, it was designed with the Padavinyasa of 25 modules. Same like Nasik cave 3, also Mandukapada with 64 modules. Likewise, Uttarameru, almost all the temple structures, even ancient residential excavations also we can find that all the mathematical system used in those days are based on the Vastu Purusha Mandala or this Padavinyasa system. So when we are unearthing the objects those people were used, we must also put our interest in knowing what planning methodology in those days people were adopted. Why I am going to say all these things is this much of this mathematical system, this town planning, this Padavinyasa system is not new. It is 3,000-4,000 years old. That is why this Ajanta cave BC 200 BC, 300 BC, those days they followed the Padavinyasa system. So now I come to the topic again, Manopakarana. So Manopakarana is, these iconometries, don't feel that iconometry is meant for only icons. We call it in our Vastu Shilpa Shastras that a temple also an icon. What system we follow for making an idol, also the same system we use for that, the structure where the deity is residing. We have a beautiful sloka about that one Agama called Vishwamitra Samhita speaks, Devalayasya Nirmanam, Devasya Cha Nirmidam. What it is. Construction of a temple also like carving a deity, like carving a sculpture. So both are equal. What system we follow for iconometrically, we follow for the sculptures, the same system we follow for the temple also. Not only for the temple elevation, in layout, for making a layout, for making a garbhagriha, for making everything, the ancient system is still we follow. You must understand who are responsible for creating such a beautiful system. The Sthapathis who are responsible. Those who have created the Vastu Shilpa tradition and the Vastu Sastras. I give one more evidence how these systems were used. We have a beautiful shloka of Mahabharata. The Maya says to Krishna, Ramyani Shukatarshani Bhogatyani Sakasra Saka. How in those days people were able to construct Ramyani Shukadarshani Bhogatyani Sakasra. Thousands of structures have been constructed in those days. The Maya, who was the architect of Mahabharata, who explained. Even we know very well about what told in the Silappatikaram also. Nunvine Kammiyar Kana Marabina Mayan Vidithu Kodutha Marabina Ivaidam. These are all the references we get from our literature. Even Nedanalvadai also speaks. Nulari Pulavar Nunidin Kairattu Theyam Gundu Devam Noki Perumpayar Mannaikoppa Manavakathu. So Nulari Pulavar, these intelligent people in those days who have designed Nulari Pulavar Nunidin Kairattu means they have used the string. Actually, it is a string theory, what we call the Padavinyasa system. So it is the system is very ancient. Still, we keep on following is the important thing we must learn. Those people, those Sthapathis, don't feel that they are not only craftspersons. Why? Because what we call them, they are the scientist Sthapathis. A beautiful verse available in the Manasara saying Sthapanadipatihi Sthapatihi Yasmat Tasmat Sthapati Ruchade. You know, P.K. Acharya, who has given a beautiful interpretation for this shloka, the Sthapathis were the Director General of all nation building activities. So they were the founders of this tradition. They were the founders of the mathematical system. Because of them only, we are able to do such a beautiful temples, thousands of temples in our country. So, one more beautiful shloka you must understand. What is the benefit of using this mathematical system, this scale system? It is the system which is bringing down God. That is one. And another one is they are creating souls. Everyone must write about how these people are able to creating souls. I am not joking. It is not mystery. This is the science. This is the geometry what we people are using, bringing down God as well as we are creating the souls in the structures. That shloka says, Prasadadini Vastuni Vastudaka Vastu Samshraya. What it means. The Prasadadini means, the Prasada means all the structures elevated, constructed those days are enclosed with soul. Samshrayat means it is enclosed. It is hidden, it is invisible. So this system was invented by the ancient Shilpi scientists who are unpretentious and cognitive, you must understand. This is not the system easily found. This is the system of hundreds of years travel. This is the hundreds of years they have traveled, and by bearing the tools and the machines on their sweating shoulders, and found this mathematical system for creating such beautiful temples and icons. It is a system knowing from knowing to know, from known to unknown, from the visible to find out the invisible, from the visible to show you the invisible. This is the system we used in those days. Still we use. It is not the system unknown to unknown. You know, the unknown to unknown, creating confusions and contradictions. But our system is very clear, authoritative. For your instance, you know, you must have heard about this mathematics, golden geometry something, you know. It's a fractal theory. It's a modern mathematical system. It's fractal theory. It is fractal means it is a fraction. It is a fraction theory. It is, you know, you cannot get the perfection. But whereas our system is a perfect golden geometry. You can call this one, our ancient system is a perfect golden geometry. So this is the system. This is the basic system those days we have found. You know, this is the numeric system. It is the system for creating the forms. This system is enclosed with the form. I told you the mathematical system is enclosed with the form. The form is enclosed with the measurements. It is something like brick and dimensions. Unless you have the dimension for a brick, you cannot call it is a brick. So you cannot show the brick unless if you use the dimension. That is the dimension decided in those days. The dimension is hidden in the brick. Without dimension, you cannot create. It is to understand, it is something like a word and meaning. It is numeric and alpha enclosed. So all these mathematical system what we follow for our temple is called Bhagavat Jnanam. Bhagavat Jnanam is Bhagavat Vijnanam. So it is a science. It is not simply following like meter and feet. Meter and feet is no way connected with our temple architecture. We must follow the system. What we have is called mula or hole. The mula, you know, the mula in the convention of a mula, what we call it is called a Tanjai Mulam. The Brihadeshwara temple was built using the Tanjai Mulam having the 33 inches conventional mula. So these are all the factors behind our mathematical system. Now we are going to see what significance has the Manopakarana. We go through simply about the table of scale. 8 atomic particle is 1 chariot dust. 8 atomic particles is 1 chariot dust. 8 chariot dust is 1 immi. It is available in Chilapadigaram also. 8 immi is 1 ellu. 8 ellu is 1 nellu or yava. 8 yava is 1 angula. That's what it is. It is like millimeter, centimeter, decimeter, meter, or something like that. So we have a formula of multiples of 8. We follow for making all the icons, all the iconic structures, all based on this system. This is the system followed in installing the, sky-touching big temples. And this system is intangibles for making tangible structures. So for that, for exposing what the intangible system is behind our tangible structures, I have come here. This system is created based on the nature, which is the cosmic nature. This is not simply produced. By following the nature, mathematical system of nature, this scale system is created. By creating the scale system, by applying the scale system, what has happened, it is very interesting. It is very, very interesting. Brahma, what we call the creator of the universe, is Brahma, who created the universe, will not last long. It is only temporary. Whereas this mathematical system available in the Vastu Silpa tradition will last long, will beat the lifetime of Brahma's creations. We have a beautiful Tamil verse. Maya neri aatral, ayan neri neekum. What it is? Maya neri means Maya neri. The system of Maya means the architect's scale system will vanish the system of Ayan, the Brahma. My Guruji, my uncle, Dr. V. Ganavasabdi, used to tell almost all his lifetime these beautiful lines. Indian traditional architect Dr. V. Ganapati also said the following on Sthapathi Veda and traditional Sthapathi thus: man with an atom of divine energy in him has established his own spiritual domain on earth, rendering his own forms much more attractive than those of his own creator. The creator of the universe, God made man, the animate being, but man has made the supreme being, his God, using the same technology of the divine master. Hence, it is sacred, and hence the science is designated as Sthapathi Veda. Now, I will come to explain 8 atoms is one chariot dust. Why they have taken the chariot dust? The atom is invisible, but chariot dust is visible. The chariot dust means it is not the dust of the chariot passing through our roads. This is the chariot passing on the sky. This is the chariot of sun. It travels every day and sends its dust through our holes of thatched roof houses. You can check, that is called sunlight beam. That sunlight beam is, in other words, it is called light particles. In Tamil, it is called Thertugal. It is called Thertugal. It is a very interesting note. These are all the dimension system we use for making the physical structures. It is visible structures. The same science is how it is made possible to create is wonderful information we have. In Tamil, it is Thertugal. Do you know Upanishads are speaking about the God, Tejomayam Brahma. So for making a Tejomayam Brahma, unless we use the light particle of the sun, how can we create a God? This is the science. For making a Tejomayam Brahman, for making a deity, they have found the size in the tejas of sun particle, sun's dust. That is called Thertugal. So the sun travels every day. His chariot dust is passing through our houses. They have taken the dimension of the Thertugal and applied in making the deities and temples. So not only this, we can go deep. If we go deep, we have to check how the atom is invisible, how this atom size has come. Now, 8 atom is one Thertugal, before that, behind. 8 subatom is one atom. That 8 subatom is what? It is Paramanu. Paramanu is Paramatman. Paramanu is Brahman, invisible. You know what is Paramatman, what is Paramanu? The Paramanu point is very, very, very subtle. It is not visible to the human eyes. But how they found is very interesting. We, everyone have that Paramanu point in our heart where we are aiming. The aiming point is Paramanu, and we are targeting like using the arrow. Unless you aim, you cannot fulfill the target. The target aim happening in the Paramanu point. So that is a very sensitive theory what we follow. That's why Paramanar idir proktam yoginam drishtikocharam. Yoginam drishtikocharam means the Paramanu is visible only to the eyes of the yogis. I don't want to say who are the yogis who have found. Yogis are the architects of our ancient Bharat who have found. They are called yogis. Their science is Sthapathi yoga. Not only Sthapathi yoga, Sthapathi Veda, it is yoga also. It is you must know about yoga. Normally what we feel what yoga is. So yoga is for attaining, for fulfilling our for requirements. We do yoga like Ashtanga yoga. But this yoga, Sthapathi yoga, is not like that. It is for their individual sake they are doing the Ashtanga yogam. But this is for the public sake. For creating a temple is not for himself. It is for creating a deity is not for himself. He is making a meditation or penance, doing a sculpture. This is called Sthapathi yoga. This Sthapathi yoga is brought out from where? I have come to the end point. This Sthapathi, this Manopakarana measurement system is designed from column, time. Time is the very important factor in designing a scale system in our Bharat. From the remote past, we people are following the same system. We have a beautiful shloka of Maya. Kala Kurye Kanakiyalagi கட்டடக்கலையே கணக்கியல் உச்சி. You know, the mathematical system what we follow in architecture is the zenithal mathematics. It is not a simply mathematics, it is a zenithal of mathematics. So that means Kala Kure Kanakila, it means column is the very basic element for designing the scale. See what brilliant people, those who have designed this scale system. Do you find any kind of this system is followed in any of the place, you know, in the world? Nobody can create such a beautiful system. This is why our structure and sculptures are living long. For instance, I will explain how the measurement system, this column is helping for designing a scale. It's all very, it's like it's general knowledge. We know how the tree is growing. If a coconut tree is growing in 5 years to 5 feet, 5 feet it grows 5 years, means that height is equivalent to the duration, the periodicity. If the periodicity is 5 years and the length or height of the tree is 5 years, that 5 is to 5. This is the basic theory what we have. This is the theory of making the physical structure. The column is used for the, you must be, you know, the Anuswaram, you know, I told you the Anu, Tuhal, Ter Tuhal, all I told you. The same thing is used for the music also. You must be heard about Anuswara. The time is called Ter Tuhal length. What explained? That is a term, Tertugal column. Anutugal Neelam, Anutugal column. So the same thing what applied in architecture also applied in the Kala Ganidam. So these are all interlinked. That's why we call music is a audible architecture. You cannot hear architecture, but if you want to hear architecture, just feel the music. The same thing, we want to see the architecture, hear the music, and if you want to see the music, see the architecture. This is the important thing you must understand. Yeah. So this column, I will conclude in 5 minutes. This column turns, you know, this science is the sacred science. The Paramatman, I told you, when it is in stillness, it is in square. When it vibrates, when it starts working, it turns into octagon, and after which the time changes into circle. These are all the activities of time. These time principles are applied in our Shivalinga. You must be knowing more about Shivalinga, what is inside Shivalinga. We have a Brahmasutram, we have a square bottom, octagonal middle portion, the top circular. These are all Nagara Vesara Dravida. Don't feel that the Nagara Dravida Vesara is not the regional boundaries. It is not regional boundaries. It mentions on the quality of time. This is attribute of time, attribute of scale. This is the scale system. This is the expanded form of the time we have shown in Shivalinga. And when the time turns and time rhythmically it operates, it functions. It is rhythm is a dance, where from the dance of Shiva is taken birth. I have given the drawing. You see the line of the curvature. I have given the Nataraja. That is the sequence of time. The sequence of time changes into a rhythmic form, where Lord Natarasa means Rasa means it is the soul dancing soul. The rasa is, you can take it as a time. Actually, time is called a Brahman, what we call in our Upanishad. In Upanishad, you can see time is also a Brahman. So giving, we must understand the scale system is where from it came. And that scale system is called Manopakarana. The scale system is come from the time measures. What we understand about the time is when it is in stillness and in it is vibration, it has geometries. To explain the activity of time, we are explaining in the geometrical form like squares, octagon, and circle. That time's vibration is called rhythm. That rhythm creates dance, where from the Nataraja is taken birth. And this is the system we follow, that you must understand. I think it will be helpful for you, but I don't think it may be a little dry subject, but you must. I have written in my book, you can read elaborately. I have compared with the language and the scale and almost all the details I given my book. You can read my book, it is written there. And thank you very much for giving this opportunity to speak in front of you. Thank you very much.
Due to constraint of time, maybe one or two questions. And before that, just a brief about the Dr. Dakshinamurthy's very wonderful lecture on the significance of Manopakarana and then Pada Vinyasa. This is, and then other agamic traditions, which has been how much it is helpful for the temple architecture, sculptural making, and other thing. And really, it's a very, very deep subject, and really very wonderful presentation he has given. And the Sthapathi tradition is really one of the older tradition. It's one of the perpetuating the ancient tradition of art and architecture in India. We know in many inscriptions we have the tradition, because the Sthapathi tradition has been reflected. Even in Mahabalipuram, the Kevada Perunthachan is the name has been given. And even in the Hoysala sculptures, everywhere you can say Mallitamba, this is the name, this is a sculptor. Like that we have hundreds of such a Sthapathi tradition we found in the inscription and also the sculptures. So this is one of the wonderful tradition. I think he is the one we are still perpetuating the tradition, the ancient tradition. Dr. Ganapati Sthapathi is one of the very renowned architect and Sthapathi, and he has done wonderful work in the world. And he has come from the same tradition, and really it's a very wonderful thing. The another thing he has told, the temple itself is an icon. I think it's quite correct. When you see the Tanjavur temple, you see this is Sarvadobhadra temple, and it is having opening on our four sides. Actually, it itself a Chaturmukha Linga. Actually, the Isana, that is the top one, that is formless. Tatpurusha, Vamadeva, Satyojada, and Agora. You can see all the four sculptures on the four sides. This temple itself is a kind of an icon. Same thing we can see in Cambodia. There's one temple that itself, all the three sides we have the faces. It's a typical the temple thing. Even he has given very good example about some of the iconometric studies. The Sulabh Sutra, it is 5th century BC. This is the first work in the world which talks about trigonometry. How to draw square, how to draw octagonal, how to draw hexagonal, how to make circles. I mean the dimensions, how to make it. That is the first work in the world which has been given. Sulabh Sutra, it's one of the greatest credit to Indian thing. So with this thing, of course, there are many things to talk about this presentation, because very wonderful thing. And I request one or two questions, if anything, please. Yeah. Yeah, please take my.
am Sridharan. I want to add one more point. The Sthapathis, he is in charge for constructing the temples. But 3 divisions are there. Sutragrahi, he is putting the thread, and Vartahi, he is setting all these sculptures in the respective places. If it is in Devakoshta, like that. And Thachan, he is removing all the unwanted portions and he is erecting the temple. The supervisor, this Sthapathi. So the last one is Sthapathi. He is in charge for the temple, and we find so many sculptures in Srirangam temple and Chidambaram temple. All the names have been written behind that sculptures. Okay, just I want to add that point.
Okay, thank you for the suggestion.
Excuse me.
And
Namaste, sir. I am basically stone sculptor. I want a small clarification about every temple have vertical and horizontal line based on the constructed. But nowadays we have a water level and lesser level is there. But those time how they fixed a point like a horizontal level, see the Adhisthana, Upaveda, Kumuda, everything, all the line is perfectly water level they fixed it. How they fixed it those time? Thank you, sir.
It's a 2-line answer. You know, I told you in the Sangam literature, from Sangam literature, that Noorali Pulavar Nundijin Kairet. Actually, the Sthapathis who have understood in those days the movement of the sun, not actually, the sun is not moving, a movement of the earth actually. Every month, the movement of earth, how much it is, they have already decided in those days what we call, that is, it is available in the Sanku Sthapana. Every month we will be able to tell you at what degree or what it is what we call it is the movement of the sun. Every month how it moves, what percentage. All these things were clearly stated in the Manasara Vastu Sastra about Sanku Sthapana, where you can find too many informations about this, but the leveling and the vertical, perpendicular, it is no need to go for any very expensive machineries what is available now. It is, the plumb line will be enough for making a perpendicular. The plumb line is going through, it is the, Puvi Puvisai. It acts upon, it goes through the center of the earth, or it is, plumb line is the perpendicular line what we used. It should be in perpendicular. It is not vertical. Vertical is something different from perpendicular. You see, perpendicular line is based upon the plumb line. It is called the Madhya Sutram. Yeah, I tell you. If you mark it, that is very simple. We have a tri-scale. You will get that 90 degree, 45 degree. You can get this slant is if you make the plumb line and do by using your tri-scale, and it will be the water table level also. You understand? This is a very basic thing. We have attained the cosmos, we have found the Paramanu, and we have measured the orbit of these planets. All things we found, but this is very simple. It is simple for them. In that way only they have done it. Thank you.